Beer O'Clock, and this is the Beer O'Clock Show, back from probably the shortest break ever in Beer O'Clock Show history. We were here just yesterday. My name is Mark, and joining me is this week's special little birthday boy, Steve. Hello, Steve.
Hi, Mark. How are you doing?
I'm alright, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Very good.
Yeah, well rested after our very, very long break that we've had.
If we weren't locking in, if we weren't summer specialing, we were talking about today, and it's like, did we actually have a break? No, we did not. Anyway, it's season 5, we're back, and it's episode 80 to boot, and we have an exotic season ahead of us. But before we get to that,
we do indeed.
Let's have a little recap of a little event we had a few weeks ago, which was our much mooted, on this show especially, and everywhere else we had a presence. It was the Beer O'Clock Show live lock-in. Steve, it went not too bad.
I think it was a great night, mate. I had a thoroughly good time. I think certainly the guests that we had the lock-in on the lock-in with us had a good time as well, and there were quite a few people joining in from Twitter.
Yep.
It was just a really enjoyable evening. It was just like being down the pub with your group of mates.
It was
just sitting and chatting, and I think everybody got into it eventually, all technical issues aside at the beginning.
Yeah.
But no, it was a fun evening. There were some pretty decent beers being drunk across the people as well.
There was
that were
a
on
great
with us.
variety of beers. I actually finished off my Melissa Cole list that I had, my little stash. And I was all warm and tingly by the end and shouting, and I got told off by the wife. And I think a few people got told off by their other halves. Yeah, apart from the technical snafus at the beginning, it went from 9:30 till 1. It was literally a lock-in. We were talking about before, and I said this on the show, on the lock-in itself, is that we were planning for people to leave and we'd let other people come in and join as we went along. We stayed with that group of 9 people from 9:30. They lasted all the way through the technical snafus, all the way to 1 o'clock. I left, and then some of them carried on anyway.
Yeah.
So-
I carried on for a bit with them as well, and eventually I was like, you know what, I've got to go to bed. I just can't. I can't carry on anymore.
It was amazing, and we had people tweeting, we had people looking on YouTube saying "let me in." Yeah, it was great fun, and we do have a little plan for another one.
We do. Well, actually, I think we've spoke that what we're probably going to try and do is do maybe 3 of these a year, and do them in between the seasons. So when we're off air, we'll about halfway through the break we'll run a lock-in. So planning on running the next one on Saturday, the 17th of January. 2015. I know that feels like a ways off at the moment, but just scribble it in your calendar so you've got it in there. And I'm pleased to announce that the next lock-in will be supported by Left Hand Brewing. Now, Left Hand are a big brewery from the States, who have recently launched beers in the UK and a number of places. They're most well known for their milk stout and their nitro stout, and they're going to be supplying us with both of those beers to do a side-by-side tasting on the next lock-in. So get that in your diary for now. We're not going to bang on too much about it until probably towards the end of this season, because it is a ways off, but we just wanted to let you know that we thought it was a success, and we are going to do it again and again and again and again, no doubt.
Until you get to the point where it's literally just you and me in the lock-in.
Yes.
When it's run its course. And maybe even then we might still carry on.
Exactly. You know, there was always that worry of how many people are going to want to watch a group of 10 people get pissed on YouTube on a Saturday night. And actually, people did watch.
Yeah.
So, you know, like you say, we got a lot of involvement from the community on Twitter as well. So, yeah, it's definitely something we'll be doing again and just playing around with and just having some good fun, because that's what it was all about.
Indeed. So, let's carry on. What's planned for this season, mate? Our 5th season.
Yes. Well, we've got the Italian beers running throughout the season as a bit of a theme. We're obviously launching with one this evening, which we'll come to shortly, and then we'll be doing them every other week or every third week until we get to Christmas. We've got a load of guests lined up. We've got some bloggers coming on with us to review beers with us. We've got a great list of beers lined up as well. Quite a variety of beers in there as well. So we're going
Halcyon.
from things Halcyon, Imperial IPA. Yes, a completely unbiased review of Halcyon. We're obviously, we're launching tonight with a continually hopped Imperial Pils. I think next week we're doing a Grand Cru. Then we're doing porters.
You're going to kill me by the end of this, man.
I am trying to educate you, and then building up to a grand finale this season of a beer that you have no idea what it is at this stage, and you won't know until the evening of recording what the beer is that we're going to finish the season with.
Green King Crafter.
It's not Green King IPA, no. Sorry to disappoint you, but yeah. So yeah, there's gonna be loads of guests. There's gonna be loads of little interviews that we do at the end of the show. We're gonna be doing over the next few weeks. We're gonna be doing a bit of a look forward to the Indie Man Beer Convention as well. I keep calling it a festival. I got told off when we did the interview for that. Yeah, the Indie Man Beer Convention, because I'm going up to that. We've already got an interview in the bag that previews that, which you'll be able to hear next week. Be doing some more interviews at the convention, so we'll do a little bit of a feature of that at the beginning of the season. Like I said, we'll just do the Italian beers, and yeah, just continuing to have some fun, mate. Just experiencing new beers and new tastes. I think there's also we're planning a little collab with another podcast as well in a couple of weeks, which we'll probably talk about more next week.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Anyway, news time. We've got a shed load of news to get through, so you need the mega pips this week, mate.
I need the mega season 5 pips.
Got the trumpets
okay, yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, so first up this week, over the summer during our break while we're off air, the winner was announced of the Waitrose Thornbridge Homebrew competition. Graham Nelson was the winner of that, who brewed a beer called Vienna IPA, which is a 5.9% IPA. That is currently being brewed by Thornbridge and will be sold at Waitrose stores across the country. Now, we are going to be featuring Graham's beer in a few weeks' time once it's released, and Graham's going to be coming on the show with us as well to talk about his experience of winning the competition and reviewing the beer with us. And also, I believe that Thornbridge have confirmed that Rob Lovat, who's the head brewer, will also be available for that show.
Oh, cool.
As well. So that's going to be quite a show to look forward to later on in the season. Be Graham Nelson. You can find Graham on Twitter at ArrowSales. And yeah, so we'll be featuring his Vienna IPA a bit later on this season.
Excellent.
Adnams have won an award for their dry hop lager. They've won a gold medal in the International Beer Challenge.
Is that the
Brewdog? Sorry.
Is that the Jack Brand one?
Well, it is, but they seem to have subtly dropped the Jack Brand branding. It's still on.
It won an award. Make sure that Adnam's name gets out there.
Yeah, it's still on the packaging, but it's not as prominent as it was. They now just seem to be called Adnam Southwold Jack Brand beers. So
Okay.
they seem to have dropped it. Yeah, so that's won a gold medal, which is obviously for Adnams being their first lager is a good thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
That's available online and in Adnams stores if you want to give that a try. It's a pretty decent beer.
Yes.
You can't go too wrong with it recently.
Mm. Next.
Next, Brewdog. This week's Brewdog news. They have launched a lager as well called This Full Stop Is Full Stop Lager Full Stop. It's 4.7 ABV Pilsner, designed to offer lager drinkers a craft beer alternative to the mass-produced lagers that still dominate the UK's UK market. Wanted to make sure it was properly UK market there. Interestingly, alongside that announcement, in the last week, Wetherspoons have also announced that they're going to be stocking this Brewdog lager in 200 Spoons outlets from November. So that's a pretty big thing. That not only have Brewdog released this lager, but it's now going to be in Spoons as well.
So is this lager out?
It is out. It's out now. Yeah, it's available now.
Well, I'm at Brewdog tomorrow night, so I might give it a go.
Yeah, bottles and kegs. So give it a go. And let us know what you think next week. But also just alongside that, Spoons actually in the last week or so they're up to something. Don't know what it is, but they're announcing all sorts of new craft beers coming to Spoons from October onwards. So in addition to the Brewdog This Is Lager, they're also going to be stocking Lagunitas IPA in bottles and the Adnams Jack Brand Crystal Rye IPA as well. So they're making loads of announcements at the moment about new beers that they're stocking. So keep your eye on Spoons at the moment because they seem to be doing something with beer.
Catching up.
But bringing that sort of beer to the masses can only be a good thing.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but good on Spoons.
Yeah. So while we're talking lager, just for those that missed it again while we were off, we did finally complete our lager poll and we had a winner. Camden Hell's Lager came out on top of our UK top 10 lagers. And just for those of you that are listening to this on Friday, you'll be aware that our Pale Ale poll has now launched. So we're doing the UK top 10 Pale Ales as well. And this is building up Pale Ales. And this is building up to a massive end of year UK's favourite beer type poll. So stick with us on this one.
I can smell the controversy from here.
Yeah, yes indeed. Right, okay, we're nearly there. Only a couple more stories to go. Guinness have released two new beers, two porters that they're clearly targeting the craft beer market with. So you've got Guinness Dublin Porter and Guinness West Indies Porter that have been released in 500ml bottles. Not sure where you can buy those from, but by all accounts, they're pretty decent beers. They're not too bad, so keep your eye out for that one. Mentioned earlier that we're going to be doing some Indie Man features this year, so just to say that all of the breweries have now been announced for the Indie Man beer convention, and there's loads of breweries. I'm not going to go through them all. I'm just going to go through the ones that I'm interested in, trying while I'm up there. Beavertown, Brew by Numbers, Buxton, Magic Rock, Shock, Siren Craft Brew, The Colonel, Thornbridge, Weirdbeard, to name but a few. If you want to check out the full list, indiemanbeercon.co.uk. And finally, for this week's news, next week is Cask Ale Week. So there's a celebration of Cask Ale all over the UK, celebrating Britain's national drink. For more details, go to caskaleweek.co.uk. And so end the news.
Okay, and joining us now are two of the guys from a lovely little company called Beers from Italy, who have supplied tonight's beer and a few more that we're going to be having throughout the season. We have, joining us, Andy and Geremiah. Hey guys, how's it going?
Hello. Hi there, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Before we get into talking about all the beers, let's talk about your company, which isn't... It's relatively new, this company, isn't it? Beers from Italy.
Yes, it is fairly new. In fact, we officially launched the online shop beersfromitaly.com on the 16th of June this year. So we've been, in fact, tomorrow will be about 3 months, yes. Well, I got into craft beer about a year and a half ago. I know I shouldn't probably use the term craft beer, but especially when it comes to Italian beers, it's quite important to make this distinction, because when it comes to Italian beer, people tend to think mostly of Nastro Azzurro and the Moretti. And we would like to change that. We would like to introduce people in the UK to a vast choice of Italian ales. There are about 700 microbreweries in Italy as we speak. Yes, so it's all a fairly recent thing. It all really began back in 1996 with the Paladin Brewery, and some might also argue that it was also a bit of a joint thing with Birrificio Italiano as well, but I think it's mostly Teo Musso that really the entire craft beer movement should be grateful for, because back then he decided to open the very first microbrewery in Italy when, from a legal standpoint, the Italian government did not even have an official definition of that. Right. So there was a long time that he had to spend, sorting out all the bureaucracy. He never gave up though. So in the end, he was able to start. He had all his equipment come from Belgium, in fact. Paladin beers are quite peculiar. And as you will see when you later on this season, you will taste Isaac Ale and then Nora towards the end. Teo Musso certainly has applied his own style. I'm sorry, I meant to say his own interpretation of some of the more classic styles. Shortly after Paladin, then a number of microbreweries were established as well, but I would say that it wasn't until the early 2000s that we have then seen a fair amount of breweries being established, and also because with time the Italian government eventually decided to let's say give a few discounts also on taxes, as long as you stayed within certain limits, and also additional discounts if you use all Italian ingredients.
Okay, cool. So how many Italian beers do you have that you're stocking from beers from Italy that you're selling in the UK?
So we've had as many as 14 different beers. So we ran out of the Anchor by Birra del Borgo. We might get that one back over the next couple of weeks. We also used to have the Paladin Open Rock and Roll. We will also have more beers towards the beginning of October as part of the club that we launched a couple of weeks ago, and they will be from the Birrificio Sant'Andrea, and they are from Vercelli in Piedmont. I don't know whether you have looked at the website with all the information about it, but their beers are inspired by the more like English and German and Czech styles, and they also have made an American pale ale too. And they also make an interesting barley wine, which is brewed with 4 different varieties of rice. In fact, yeah, so that's quite a special one.
Okay, now this week's beer that we're trying, which is the first one of our Italian beers, is, as Steve said at the beginning of the show, an Imperial Pils called My Antonia. This is a collaboration between Dogfish Head and Birra del Borgo.
That's right.
Geremiah, could you tell us a little bit more about this beer, mate?
Yeah, this started as like a a project between an idea from Sam Calagione from Dogfish and Vincenzo from the Birra del Borgo. They collaborated on other beers as well. Vincenzo made an Etrusca beer, which is an ancient beer, like sort of the same kind of process that brought Sam Calagione to brew Midas Touch. And they decided to make this beer, make an Imperial Pils with a blend of classic European hops and American hops, in order to find like a point of a conjunction between the styles original from Europe and from the States, in order to make a really important beer with strong characteristics, a strong aromatic profile, and the elegance and the touch of the Italian way of making craft beer.
Okay, cool. Steve, have you had any of these Italian beers yet, mate?
I haven't. These are going to be my. Oh no, actually, I tell a lie. I've had a bottle of the Baladin Isaac before, which we'll be doing later on in the series, and I was quite surprised by it actually, because it's a wit beer, and I'm not a massive fan of that style, as everybody knows, but I was actually very taken aback by the very subtle spices and flavourings that had been used in it, that actually took it away from that traditional sort of style and made it a very enjoyable drink. So that's one to look forward to in a few weeks' time, that one. But apart from that, no, this is going to be a first for me, venturing into the beers that Andy's supplied for us here. It's certainly something that I'm excited about this season.
Okay, well, let's crack into it then. We've got, as I said, My Antonia, which is a continually hopped Imperial Pils, 7.5% ABV. Steve, far too big as number one on the season, mate.
Well,
Ooh.
mate, I'm sorry, but it's a season of big beers. There's I don't think there's anything below 5.5% this season.
That smell of the bottle when you open it, you get that little burst of.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
It's really sweet, isn't it?
Yeah, the upbill in this.
It's a really sweet smell.
Right. Oh, lovely little bottle. Let's give this a pour out.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I've been doing some research because Andy gave me a book to read about Italian beers, so bit of a test now.
Some homework.
And some homework. Somebody also questioned on Twitter, why do all the Italian beer bottles look like this? Because they're quite unique in their styling. Now, from what I've gathered from the book, they're presented like wine bottles, so it's more culturally acceptable at the dinner table.
Yeah, it's right. It's something that Teo Musa from Baladin sort of started, because he recognized that if he wanted to sell like a good product, he had to aim to like wine customers. And so like he had to seduce them and make them like happy to spend a bit more money to get a really good beer. And so he had to dress them like a good wine, sort of. So the feeling that you get for the bottle, the weight of the bottle, the design of it, most of the time they got even box caps, different labels, engraved bottles, makes you feel, even before opening the beer, that is really actually special.
Well, just smelling this beer, it's so lovely and sweet.
There's a lovely, it's almost orange-like aroma coming off of that. Some
like
lovely hazy.
It's like a tangerine type, mild orange.
I should also point out, guys, I'm sorry to interrupt, the fact that we are all using a thank you to drink this means that the aromas are effectively enhanced. So this might slightly affect your perceptions of the actual aromas.
So
in a good way.
In a very good.
Because we're all drinking it in the teku glasses, then we're getting a better smell of it. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I don't mean to say though that this only fits Italian beer. Of course, these are universal glasses, which, by the way, Teo Musso designed together with Quasca. That's the nickname of somebody who is very well known in Italy when it comes to beer. But yeah, I mean, I have actually tried quite a few, non-Italian beers as well with this, and this kind of fits any style really.
I had my DuPont Saison in this.
Oh yeah,
the lock-in, and gorgeous beer, lovely aroma coming out of it, and it's all due to the glass, obviously.
No.
But you can buy these glasses. You can buy these glasses on your website, and they're really light, thin glass, and they're really lovely to hold as well.
Yeah, but even if it's thin, they are pretty strong and tough because they are meant to be used as a beer glass.
Yeah.
They are not a refined wine tulip that has to be handled really carefully.
Anyway, enough chatter. Shall we get into the beer, guys?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Let's do it. And what's cheers in Italian, guys?
Salute or chin chin.
Chin chin.
Salute.
Chin chin.
Jane.
Oh yeah. Whoa. Oh, straight away you're just getting the bitterness from that continually hopped process. That's just coming through, but it's just it's like really lemony and really cutting, and it leaves a lovely dry finish. And it's one of those finishes that just makes you want to just dive straight back in for more.
Yeah, I think the lightness of it being a pilsner is obviously offset by the heftiness of the hoppage. But it's a really nice pairing. It's like you say, you get that bitterness and that hoppy burn, but it's light enough you don't have a heavy malt following up from it. You get the Pils freshness from it. Really nice.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to stick this out there right now. That could be potentially dangerous because it's very, very quaffable, and for 7.5%, you'd have a few of those and you'd know about it instantly.
You wouldn't know it was a Pils if you didn't know it was a Pils. I don't think.
The alcohol is not too perceptible, but it makes the beer really well-rounded. It gives a bit more body than a classic Pilsner. It's made with Pils and Carapils. You feel this slightly caramelly background that helps to balance the strong bitterness of this beer.
Mm-hmm.
And the hop bill is actually Simcoe, Warrior, and Saz, and it does represent the perfect balance between the American resinous and citrusy hop flavors with a bit of the spiciness, earthiness of the more classic continental Saz.
I think you'd say that probably on their own, Simcoe and Saz are quite distinctive hops, but the way that they've been balanced within this beer, actually they work very, very well together, and they do leave this fantastic. It's almost this bitterness that's just got this hint of sweet citrusness in it.
Yep.
It's just so well balanced.
Yeah, the focal point of this beer is mainly being so balanced in all the aspects. The body, the flavor, the aromas. You got this continuous mix of bitter and sweet alcoholic taste in your mouth, going in and out like a wave. And it keeps giving you a new sensation without being overly strong or too weak.
This should hopefully help clear your cold up, Steve.
I'll tell you what, mate. It's cut right through it. I'm feeling great after just half a glass of this. This has properly sorted me out. I've been missing a trick here, trying all my normal remedies of doing double bottles of Halcyon as a cold cure. I should have just gone straight for this because this is properly sorting me out.
So, Jeremiah and Andy, how popular is this beer in Italy, and how popular is it amongst your range as you've found the UK audience taking to it?
So it's in Italy. It's pretty known by beer that knows about people that knows about craft beer, because it's actually one of the first sort of available. Speaking of the small craft beer market of the first sort of American craft beer available in Italy, being made in collaboration with Dogfish Head. But then, yeah, Birra del Borgo is one of the 3 most famous and most popular craft breweries in Italy, and My Antonia is a special one. Is actually not that easy to find. It's still a nice treat. Regarding the UK market, Birra del Borgo is one of the most known names of Italian beer makers, and we saw that a lot of people were really interested, even because on the label itself you can find Dogfish Head. So like having the 2 names together, Birra del Borgo and Dogfish Head, attracted a lot of.
Do you think people are more attracted by the Dogfish Head sticker initially to this one? But it's not a sticker, but it's got the little label up in the corner of Dogfish Head. Do you think that's what potentially draws people to this?
Might be. For sure, Dogfish Head is more known than Birra del Borgo. Is a much bigger company. It's been in the market for many more years. But then even if they would get the bottle just for the Dogfish Head label, they would not be disappointed by the beer, I guess.
Oh, absolutely not. I'm going to stick my neck out there and say, if you see this beer, you want to snap this up, because this is it's a great example of. I suppose you'd probably go as far as saying it's not so much a traditional Pils that you'd expect, but it's an incredible interpretation of a very heavily hopped Pils. The flavors just work perfectly together. It's just it's everything I look for in a beer. Really, it's spot on.
Italian craft beers tend to be more well known in the US as opposed to the UK. In New York City, in fact, there is a pretty large bar. I think what's it called, Jeremiah?
It's called Italy.
Italy bar, yeah, but it's spelled like EATALY. So, but anyway, I have seen a few pictures. Apparently, the availability of Italian beers there is quite amazing. The distribution of Italian beer in the UK is not what it should be. We don't think yet, and we're also trying to change that. Especially when it comes, to bottles. But I mean, I have seen My Antonia on tap at the Slaughtered Lamb in Clerkenwell. Mm-hmm. There was about 7 months ago. It didn't last long, I'll have to say. But
I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
I'm really not surprised.
There are well. I mean, I can only talk about London bars really, that's because we live here, but up north in the Manchester or Leeds or somewhere else in Yorkshire as well, there's a number of pubs where you can find the Birra del Borgo and even Toccamato beers fairly regularly, in fact. I mean, I have heard of Birra del Borgo Cortigiana, for instance, at the Euston Tap. But yeah, another fairly well-known Italian beer, the Tipo Pils, which is an Italian pilsner. Again, quite perhaps not as peculiar as My Antonia, but certainly a very, very good one. Is available at Finborough Arms down in Earls Court. I think it's always available there. In fact,
yeah, they always have it on draft. That's a classic pilsner.
Okay.
And that one actually carries a bit of history because it's one of those that was made available in 1996, which is considered, the year where the Italian craft beer movement started really. Sorry, I'm going to mute my.
So I forgot what I was going to say. Steve, ask them a question.
Okay, yes. Where else, other than obviously, we can get these beers from your website and some of the places we spoke about there. Where else are people likely to be able to get a good taste of either beers that you're bringing in or just Italian craft beer?
Nowhere else.
Actually,
only beers from Italy.
Actually, pretty soon they could be able to find us at the St. Albans Festival organized by Camera. We are gonna be there with some of our beers. There are gonna be some other Italian beers, and that could be a nice occasion to try 1 or 2 bottles of Italian beers.
Do you think there's chance of getting these kind of bottles in somewhere like Brewdog?
It might be. It's difficult to see. To understand Brewdog plans, they change so often and they go crazy with everything. So it's quite impossible to know what is gonna go on even in the next week or 2 probably. But
Right.
yeah, why not?
Well, I think that's an audience right there if you get stuff into Brewdog. And it's a shame because, I think you could put this beer up against some of the stuff coming out of London quite easily. I think. Don't you think, Steve?
I think any good bar that stocks a decent range of bottles, you would hope to see something like this on their shelves. Absolutely, yeah. I think it can hold itself against the best that's out there. I mean, I've thoroughly enjoyed this Pils tonight, and that for me, I'd like to see that more readily available, because I want to drink that again and again and again.
We are really happy to hear that because this is one of the really best examples of Italian beers. So if you think that it can stand up with beers made here in the UK, where you got a much bigger and longer tradition in beer making, it makes us really proud actually about what we are able to do in Italy.
I think one of the great things about this beer is it really showcases the hops. You can get that. You do get that Simcoe coming straight through, but it's not buried in anything else. That these other beers and they just throw hops at it, and you end up just getting hit in the face with hops, and then you got that kind of burnt malt in the background and stuff. This is a lovely. I'm still not convinced it's a Pils. I just think it's a nicely hopped beer. But it, like Steve says, it's dangerous. I can go another one of these.
It is. It's incredibly dangerous. I think I drained mine far too quickly, to be honest with you. But I've really enjoyed that, and I think that's a cracking start to the season. I was kind of secretly hoping this might be a really good one to start with. So I'm pleased we did. I'm looking forward to the others now. Because I know from some of the reading that I've been doing that some of the Baladin beers might be a little bit different in terms of maybe some of the ingredients that they've used in there. So that might challenge us palate wise and flavour wise. But this was a good start for me.
Yeah, Baladin, which is the brewer of one of a few of the beers that we are gonna try later on this season, is the master of balancing different ingredients and mainly spices in these beers. They are usually Belgian style inspired, but then with this Italian twist, this way of putting the spice in a really refined and elegant way.
Yeah, I can
So
say.
whereas the other ones we're going to be covering, the Birra del Borgo ones, they're more hop forward. Would one say?
Not so much. Reale is a sort of pale ale. It's less bitter than this one. It's like a more classic pale ale. This is a more extreme example of like a hoppy beer.
Anyway, I've finished mine. I think you've finished yours, Steve, haven't you?
I finished mine probably about 15 minutes ago, mate. To be honest, it got drained. I probably got stuck into that. Yeah.
Yeah. Towards the end, it kind of comes into this nice little hoppy thickness towards the end. Really condensed bitterness. It's really lovely.
Mm.
And I'm not a huge fan of hugely hoppy beers, but yeah. Winner. Good way to start the season. Right. Andy, where can people find beers from Italy, mate? What's your website? What's your Twitter?
Oh, I'm sorry. We are on www.beersfromitaly.com.
Mm-hmm.
We're on Twitter at beersfromitaly. We're on Facebook as well. We've got a page there. We also sell the TechU glasses on Amazon. Eventually, we will also sell the beers on Amazon as well. I mean, the primary reason why we also sell on Amazon is because there are quite a few people who get vouchers.
Yeah.
And often people, they might want to buy books or video games, or perhaps they want to buy something else. And we just want to give people more options, really.
Yeah. And you've been very kind enough to offer our listeners from the season 5 beers, the Italian beers that are on our season 5 beer list. There's a 15% discount code that Steve has put on the website.
Sorry, yes, that is correct. The discount code is Beer O'Clock Show, and it's a 15% discount. This is just on the beers. It's every single beer that we have in the shop. The TechUs are not currently discounted with this, but we still think that is very good value. We've even lowered a bit the prices of some of the beers. There are a few special offers, and we also started selling beer by the case as well. So that we have the My Antonia and the Reale, in fact, available, as well as the Nazionale, I think, and the Baladin Wine. So yeah, so
And you've also
if people want to, yes.
You've also got that Discovery case as well, which has got 6 bottles in it.
Yes, I mean, Discovery case, conveniently, it actually basically matches the season 5 beer list.
Well, there you go, folks. That's all of that. Let's get your
Brilliant.
Discovery case sorted.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going in. I'm going in for a case of My Antonia with the discount. I think after tonight.
Okay then.
Or maybe 1-on-1.
Yeah.
Right, well, thanks very much, guys. It's been a pleasure to have you on, and looking forward to having even more beers from your lovely country and your lovely company throughout the season. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think the guys are coming back at the
Thank you
end
very
of the
much.
season to do the Nora with us, which is the one that's
It
got
is.
the wax encased top, which I think is it's an Egyptian style of beer, is it?
Absolutely.
Oh, that sounds
Yeah, it's
weird.
the
yeah.
Baladin Egyptian style beer.
And it's a big bottle as
Yeah.
well. It's a massive
I
bottle.
love a big bottle.
So, yeah. So we'll
Maybe-
we'll look forward to having you back on for that one, guys.
Absolutely. Maybe that time it's gonna last till the end of the show. You're not gonna finish it on the first
I
5
think
minutes.
so. Yeah. Yeah. A little bit slower drinking on that one, I think.
Okay, well, thanks very much, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Right, well, that was Andy and Jeremiah from Beers from Italy. Thanks very much, guys, for joining. That was a tasty beer, Steve.
It was. I thoroughly enjoyed that, mate. Right up my street in terms of the hoppiness of it. A real hop bomb, but very well balanced. Lots of.
It's kind of like a cannonball when you want to break from the cannonball.
It's kind of a cannonball refresher.
It is.
So that's like I say though, at 7.5%, you could have a couple of those without even realising it.
Yeah, the night will slip away with you on these.
Yeah. But just so, like I say, so well balanced and so easy to drink. Real good opener to the season there, mate.
Oh yeah, fantastic beer. Anyway, moving on. Return of probably, hopefully beer review aside, but I think this might be even more popular than our beer reviews, which is Instagram of the week. Hashtag prizeless prize.
Oh mate, people have still been going with the prizeless prize while I've been off. I absolutely love it. And just before we start recording tonight, it seemed as though the world and his wife had been buying Andy's Teku glasses, because every other picture was with a Teku glass in it.
Oh, wow.
So, but I have to say that this week's prize goes to at Fantastic Film Ian G for an absolutely stunning picture of. He's been all over the season 5 beer list. He's ordered himself the entire set of Italian beers and a Teku glass. And he took a lovely photo of them where he did one of these things where it was black and white, but then he highlighted the labels in full colour.
Oh, wow.
But you can have a look at that. Have a look at that on our Instagram account. It's linked to in the show notes as well. But yeah, Ian G at Fantastic Film, you're our first prizeless prize of season 5.
Round of applause.
Woo!
Right, what beer have we got? We got the Rodenbach Grand Cru coming up next week. You mentioned.
We have, yes.
What style of beer is that? Don't say it's a Grand Cru. Is it a Grand Cru?
It's a Grand Cru. It is a Grand Cru, yeah.
What's a Grand Cru?
It's a Flemish red. But this is one that's been soured.
Disgusting.
So it's a fizzy sour.
And
beer.
we have one of our little Twitter buddies coming to join us.
We do have a renowned blogger, Matt Curtis at Total Curtis is coming on with us. Matt actually chose that beer to review on the show. I'm actually going to do something a little bit different though as well, because I've got a bottle of the normal Rodenbach, which isn't a Grand Cru. So I'm going to kind of do them in a side-by-side tasting to see the difference between the two, because I've been reading up on them and they're both blended differently. So I want to see how they compare to one another.
Get you, Mr. Scientific.
I know. I just thought, let's do something that people might actually want to listen to for a change.
Right, well, our Season 5 beer list, as we said, is on the website, and that's where you can get your discount code for beersfromitaly.com, which is 15%, which, as Andy himself said, is very generous, and it is very generous indeed. And they've got lovely-looking bottles, I have to say. I love these little Italian bottles.
That they are great, aren't they? They're so... Especially the little ones. They're so cute.
They're so cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
great beer inside them as well.
And
get yourself a box of My Antonia.
And throughout this season, the Beer O'Clock Show is proud to be supported by Ales by Mail, your premier destination for bottled real ales delivered direct to your door. Visit alesbymail.co.uk and use the code BOCS10 for a 10% discount. And that's on any order as far as I'm aware, not just the Season 5 beer list. Across their range.
On all beers. Yeah, across their entire range, yes.
They've got a great range of beers. We're going to be working with them throughout the season to do little bits and bobs. But that 10% discount is for you guys, so I hope you take advantage of it and dive in and buy a shit ton of beer. Right, Steve. Episode 80, mate. We've only got 20 to go till the big one.
I know. Gonna have to start planning the big one. God knows what we're going to do for that.
Yeah. And that's it, folks. You can find us on the website at beeroclockshow.co.uk. Twitter is Beer O'Clock Show. I'm there at Roku Beer. Steve is on Untapped at Beer O'Clock Show Steve. I'm there at Roku. And Instagram is at Beer O'Clock Show. Send us your pictures for Instagram of the week. Prizeless prize you could win and put upon your shelf. Nothing, because that's all you get, apart from recognition on this most joyous of beer podcasts. Until next week, Steve, it's great to be back, mate. That little one week span where we didn't actually do a podcast almost killed me.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been the highlight of my week.
Mine too. Until next time, cheerio.